Have you ever watched a stack of bills hit the floor and realize in that split second, you're not just picking up cash, you're picking up the weight of 1,000 judgments? That's exactly where I found myself that morning at Grand Central Bank. My $20,000 in 20s and 50s scattered at my feet. Laughter rippled through the lobby, all because Lily, with a too-tight ponytail and the practiced smile, saw only a modestly dressed black woman, not the CEO of a billion-dollar tech company. You know what I mean? It wasn't an accident the way those bills hit the tile. It was a message. Before we continue, tell us where in the world you are watching from. Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more powerful content like this. And I've been collecting those all my life, stacking them up quietly, turning every slight into fuel. It started out like any regular day. If your version of regular involves closing a $2 billion acquisition by lunch and running a company with your name on the glass. I pulled up in my black electric car. Nothing flashy, hair pulled back, navy blazer, the kind of look that whispers serious but doesn't shout. I needed to make a cash withdrawal for the Smith family, longtime staff who lost their patriarch. And I wanted to do it myself. Not a big deal in my world, but everything to them. Inside, the bank hummed with that mid-morning tension. Keyboards clacking, low voices, everyone pretending not to watch anyone else. I stepped up to the counter, handed over my card. Lily looked me over, that little up and down that said more than any words. "How much will you be withdrawing today?" she asked, barely concealing the skepticism when I said $20,000. Like maybe I'd read too many zeros. I've seen that look before, the kind that says, "Who do you think you are?" But I just gave her my ID, kept my voice level, let her process the request. It should have been routine, but she called for more verification. Another ID, even after seeing the account balance that probably made her eyes water. Lily kept glancing at her coworker, Sam, like they were sharing a joke at my expense. The bank manager, Arthur, hovered nearby, pretending to rearrange brochures while keeping one eye on the scene. I kept my cool, handed over my passport, and went through their little song and dance. I wasn't about to let them see me sweat. Lily finally started counting out the bills, nice and slow, loud enough for the whole lobby to hear. $20,000 is quite a sum. I hope you have somewhere safe to keep it." I nodded, keeping my face neutral. That's when it happened. The stack hit the counter, bounced and spilled all over the floor. Sam tried not to laugh. A young intern giggled. For a moment, it felt like the whole place was in on it, waiting to see how I'd react. Now, maybe in another life I'd have snapped, but I just knelt, gathered every bill, stacked them neatly, stood up, and thanked Lily like nothing happened. Her smile faltered for the first time as I walked out, head high. I felt eyes on my back, some amused, some uncomfortable, and one set that felt different, almost troubled. A man in a charcoal suit watched me leave, and something about his face told me he saw the whole scene for what it was. In my car, safe behind tinted glass, I finally let myself breathe. My assistant, Liam, was texting, checking if I'd be late for the signing. Not a chance. That's the thing about being underestimated. You learn to compartmentalize. So I went on with my day, delivered the cash to the Smith family through Liam, made sure they never felt like it was charity, finalized the acquisition, keep moving because that's what you do when people try to put you in a box. But the universe had other plans for that day. That man from the bank? It turned out he was Daniel Thorne, one of Synergy Solutions board members, the company we were merging with. He showed up in my office, awkward, apologetic, said he'd witnessed the whole thing and should have spoken up. I asked him why he didn't. He didn't have a good answer. Shock, habit, not wanting to make a scene. I told him, now you know what silence does. He looked like that hit home. The twist is, Daniel wasn't just carrying guilt. He was scared this would torpedo our deal, that I'd walk away out of pride, but I told him straight. Business is business. Slights are slights. But sometimes the line blurs, and what you do in the face of one becomes a test for the other. That bank incident, it wasn't about a bad day. It was about a pattern, a system that thought it could get away with anything as long as the right people stayed silent. Meanwhile, back at the bank, Lily was bragging about her promotion. She'd been bumped up to a senior teller, recording TikToks in the break room, talking about how you shouldn't let bougie nobodies waste your time. Her manager, Arthur, told her to delete the footage from that morning just in case. But someone else was watching. Clara Mendez, a teller who'd seen it all. She copied the footage, reached out to me, said she had proof, and wanted to help. That's where things shifted. One person's courage became the lever. I invited Clara to join Nexus Innovations and offered her a job as an analyst. She took it, tears in her eyes, and handed over the footage. Not just the humiliation, but Arthur telling Lily who I really was, and both of them laughing it off. Clara risked everything, knowing she could lose her job. That's the kind of integrity you can't teach. With that video in hand, I had a choice. Make it public, start a war, or handle things my way. Quietly, I moved every dollar of Nexus Innovations accounts out of Grand Central Bank. Over $80 million, gone in a day. Did it the morning we announced the $2 billion acquisition, right when the business world was watching. Lily and Arthur watched the lawyers process the closure, faces pale, realizing what they'd cost, the bank. Respect costs nothing, I told Lily as I left, but the lack of it just cost you $2 billion. The story exploded. The footage went viral. #RespectCosts. Nothing trended. Financial reporters, activists, even politicians weighed in. Lily tried to save herself with a clumsy apology video, then spun out on a podcast claiming she was a victim of cancel culture. It only made things worse. Her mother, a former civil rights lawyer, went on record apologizing to me and the whole country for her daughter's actions. Imagine that. The twist, where the family calls you out more honestly than your own company does. Grand Central Bank's stock tanked. Corporate clients bolted. Arthur was fired. Lily, too. Meanwhile, Clara became a symbol of what it means to do the right thing when nobody's watching. She got a full-ride MBA through the Eleanor Vance Institute, the nonprofit I started in my mother's name, offering real opportunities for women like her. Daniel Thorne resigned from the Synergy Solutions Board and went public about why he left. That sent its own shockwaves. Finally, someone on the inside calling out the rot. The government opened an investigation into the bank. Congress drafted new banking rules to require bias training and oversight. So what happened to me wouldn't get swept under the rug again. They called it Myra's Clause. Go figure. And Lily, last I heard, She was stocking shelves in another state, living under a shortened name, starting over. Her story became a cautionary tale in HR seminars, a reminder that arrogance and cruelty might win around, but a house always calls your bluff in the end. Somewhere in the middle of all that noise, I got a letter from a girl named Mia, 11 years old. "I want to win without yelling," she wrote. Her words are sitting heavy in my hands. So I went to her school, talked to her class about using your voice not to shout, but to change things. That's the legacy I care about. Not the deals, not the headlines, but the ripples that outlast the moment. So, yeah, I never raised my voice that day at the bank. Didn't make a scene. I just made a choice to let my actions speak for themselves, to show the power of quiet dignity. Sometimes, the most disruptive thing you can do is refuse to play the game by their rules. Let me ask you this. Have you ever watched someone use silence like a weapon? Not to wound, but to build something better? Do you think justice is served with headlines and outrage, or with small, relentless acts that quietly shift the world beneath our feet? Let me know what you think, because these stories don't end when the credits roll. They start right here with your voice.